before we get started with that, let's talk about the goings on. Of course, we're going to be coming up to All Out soon.
Yes.
And you've got some people who are wrestling. Of course, we know recently we saw an open challenge by Claudio, and lots of stuff going on with Daniel Bryan. How are things in the BCC, Mr. Regal? Recently, we've seen Mr. Daniel Garcia might have had a change of heart.
Well, there's a lot going on. There's always a lot going on with us because we've talked about it on this show before. We are trying to do our bit to change the views of some people and younger talent. Sometimes there's things that play out on this show, but in reality, there's the fact that we understand that there's a lot of young talent and they don't get to wrestle better wrestlers or people who've been in this for a long time, because the way the job's become and the way TV is, a lot of the best wrestlers wrestle each other now. And so that's been sort of a mission of ours. And so I can't say too much at the moment, and I'm not a gossip merchant, and I'm not gonna dignify anything that comes out because nothing seems to happen around me. And I'll put it that way. I don't, there's only, so I know that myself, John's John, and John's, that's the way he is. But I know myself, Claudio, Brian, and Wheeler are all doing our thing, and hopefully it sort of, it spreads and as far as trying to be the best professionals we can be, and that's all you can do, and do whatever we're tasked with. But it's to go out and we've got a great team of talent, and we want to make people have to face people in the BCC, and we're also hoping that it sets sort of standards for how to conduct yourself and different things. And this is sort of in reality just how to conduct yourself as a pro, and not let's put it
what
that
to
way.
do and what not to do.
Well, yes, and it's a never-ending task, and I'm still working. I've been working on it for 39 years, and I've messed up and done, but it's just all to help. And in the daytime when I'm there, we're there, we're there training early, and people want to join in, and then I'm separately on my own doing things to help younger talent, and if they want, and if they don't, that's their business. And I just hope they realize that it's not all about styles. Just because I do a certain style, I've seen every style done, and I've grown up with the modern day style and been a part of it. Just because I wasn't in it, I've been a part of it since the early stages of it, and I'm all for the modernization of wrestling, and I think that's been shown with NXT and whatever else. And so there's a lot of things, and just I do my bit. Let's put it that way, and we'll see where that, if that works or not, because I seem to find more and more people, which I'm very happy for, that they, I was not there this week. Depending when this episode goes out, I know people have probably wondering why I wasn't out there with any of the BCC this week. I was not there because of a family incident, not just to take care of my wife for a week. But I'll be back next week, and I was in contact with everybody, so it's just we're out to do our thing. Let's put it that way. That's about all I can say, really, because everything's in our world. Everything's good.
Well, it certainly looks like it. We're all really tuned in to see what happens next, if anything, with Daniel Garcia. And you talk about different styles, and that segues perfectly into what we're talking about today,
Nice.
which is William Regal in Japan.
Yes.
So I see what my notes say, but I'm not so sure about it. So let me ask you this: when was the first time that you wanted to go to Japan? When was the first time you saw Japanese wrestling?
So I started seeing some Japanese wrestling near the end of the 80s. We've mentioned a friend of mine, Peter Thompson, who used to wrestle as Steve Fury. He's the first person who introduced me to American wrestling. He was the first. He was in the wrestling job, but he was the person who gathered tapes and got all this stuff, because I didn't. And he'd lend me stuff. So but I'd also knew about Japanese wrestling because of the people that I was around. So once I was 17 and I was sort of out of the smaller company that I started working with, and I was still in that company in Blackpool and working loads of shows, but I was training with Marty Jones. Well, Marty was trained by Billy Robinson from being 6 years old. There's a documentary on Riley's Gym, the Snake Pit in Wigan, and which is, we're going to get to New Japan, but there's a lot of the style, and was based on, it's known as European wrestling, but a lot of it was based on British wrestling, and they termed it the Lancashire style, catch as catch can, because of Billy Robinson and because of Carl Gotch, because Carl Gotch lived in England for a long time and trained at Riley's Gym, and they were very instrumental in the early parts of New Japan. And so there's a tradition there. So once I got to being around Marty, nothing but stories of the time that when he was younger, when he was there, and also seeing people that I'd grown up watching and wishing I was as good as, never got as good as, but people like Dynamite Kid and Davey Boy and Rollerball Rocco, and it seemed in the 70s there was a lot of British wrestlers, because from what I gather, Carl Gotch booked the talent, the foreign talent, for New Japan. And so a lot of the fellas from the 70s that I either knew or knew about or had been to Japan. We've talked about Pete Roberts, who was the person and one of the two people I mostly based my style on once I got to a certain size, because I realized I was going to be a heavyweight. They were constantly on tour, though, and nearly all the good European heavyweights